the whole sacrifice of the Mass, the sacrifice of the Mass has so many dimensions, but they are kind of one act, you know. It's like one act of obedience to God. So what we have been doing from the beginning is to counteract, is to unite in the sacrifice of Jesus. That sacrifice of Jesus that was a wonderful, not simply an attempt, but a perfect counteraction of, like, the correction of the initial disobedience of our forefathers, of our first parents, of Adam and Eve. So in a way, I think, not in the negative way, but I think Jesus overcorrected. Like, I think Jesus, he didn't just set us back to the way we were. It even benefited us. So that's why when we are singing in Easter Vigil, we say, "Oh Felix Culpa," that is, "Oh happy thought that brought us so great a Redeemer." So Jesus, the coming of Jesus, like, kind of overdid it, kind of like, in the good way, in a good way. So when we participate at Mass, when we participate actively, we are uniting our act of obedience to that of Jesus' act of obedience. So that's why when I see people who say the Mass is boring and all that, you're not going there to do your will. So if you understand the place of obedience in all of these things, you will understand how beautiful it is to actually participate in a sacrifice. And for me, I believe it's supposed to be a bit difficult. It shouldn't be so easy. If you understand the Mass, it might be enjoyable for some. But even sometimes when your soul is when you're going through some kind of aridity or doubt or difficulty of any kind of spiritual difficulty, you still unite that suffering to the suffering of Christ. So it's a beautiful thing. So the last time I was watching my Archbishop celebrate the Mass, it hit me. All of these things, you see people uniting. You see people uniting in song, in recitation of prayers, and in gestures, standing up, sitting down, reading the Bible, listening, clapping, singing. Like, it's all like one giant act of obedience with which, like, we are uniting our wills to the will of the Son, who does the will of the Father. So I don't know how, but it's a beautiful thing. It's a sacrifice that the presence of the Holy Spirit in the church makes it beautiful in the face of God, because we all bear the identity of Jesus, who has given us the Holy Spirit. We all bear the identity of. That is why the sacrifice of the Mass can be as powerful as it is, because the head of that sacrifice is Jesus, and is also the sacrificial victim. So it's a really beautiful thing. So the Mass is really enjoyable if you understand it from the point of view of, you are going to serve. That is actually the meaning of service. You are going to serve. So you are going to perform a ritual of doing the will of God. Because everything about the Mass is prescription. It is pre-written. So you actually follow. Like, you are not leading, you actually follow. So it's a beautiful act, to pay homage to the creator of the world. So begin to see the Mass like that, and begin to offer your personal sufferings, your personal sorrows, the patience you have with people, with yourself too, like the forgiveness of that week, everything that you have, you are. Begin to offer all those things up during Mass. So when the Mass gets particularly tough and difficult, offer that up to God too. Do not seek to always find comfort. Like, do not seek comfort excessively, especially when it comes to spiritual things. Sometimes that sacrifice is also necessary. So unite all of them to that of Jesus, and your life will change. The way you see the world will change, and you become happier and better, because you are serving a purpose. You are serving something higher than you. The most important part of the Mass is the dismissal. So the whole idea is, you have now united your sacrifice with that of Jesus, but then you actually allow Jesus to actually transform you, so that his image in you will shine brighter, so that you go to the world and encounter him in other people and bear the good news of his good news to the world.